Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will share chapter number 3, Force and Motion, conceptual question answer or short question answer. So let's start our video. The first question is not included in the reduced syllabus 2021, but you can see the answer on your screen. If both trains are moving with the same speed in a same direction, then both will be at rest in a frame of reference related to each other. Since you are moving faster than other train, therefore it seems moving backward relative to your reference frame. Seeing the other train go past your window from front to rear makes it look like it is going backward. Now moving towards the question number 2. Question number 2 is also not included in the examination of 2021. Can a velocity of a body reverse the direction when acceleration is constant? If you think so, give an example. So answer is yes. When a body is thrown upward, the direction of its linear velocity is also upward with a positive sign. After reaching its maximum height, the direction of linear velocity reverses its direction and become downward. As the body undergo gravity, hence the acceleration of a body will be remain constant, which is g is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. Now moving towards the question number 3. Question number 3 is also not included in the examination of 2021. I will read it out for you. When you stand still on a ground, how large a force does the ground exert on you? Why does not this force make you rise up into the air? So the answer is we stand on a ground because gravity attracts us. This force is in the downward direction towards the center of a circle or the earth. The magnitude of a force exerted by a ground is equal to the weight, W is equal to mg. As a reaction, we also pull the earth with a force equal to the magnitude but opposite in direction, and the direction is upward. Hence, this force exerted by a ground could not make rise in the air as it directed downwards. So the gravity is directed downwards as W is equal to mg. So this is the answer of question number 3. Now moving towards the question number 4. Number 4 is also not included in the 21 examination. A man standing on the top of a tower throws a ball vertically up with a certain velocity. He also throws another ball vertically down with the same velocity. Which ball will hit the ground with the higher speed? Neglect air resistance. So answer is both balls will hit the ground with the same speed. Consider the man standing on the top of a tower as shown in the figure. A man throws a ball with a velocity of 10 meter per second upward and a ball B with a velocity of 10 meter per second downwards. A ball A, this is the ball A and this is the ball B. The ball A continues its upward journey and at a point of maximum height its velocity becomes 0. Now when it reaches its point of projection, its velocity is again 10 meter per second because it has been fallen through the same height. Since the ball B was also thrown with the same velocity 10 meter per second downwards from the same point, hence the both ball will hit the ground with the same velocity but in different time. Question number 5 is included in the examination of 2021. The cricket coach explained that the follow through with the shoot will make the ball travel a greater distance. Explain the reasoning in terms of impulse momentum theorem. So the answer is, according to the impulse momentum theorem, J is equal to del P, which is change in momentum, is equal to force multiplied by time. In a cricket, the hitter is often encouraged to follow through when striking the ball because following through increases the time. Time increases due to following, over which the collision between the ball and the bat occurs. This increase the time collision causes an increase in the change in momentum. Change in momentum also increase, and hence the velocity of a ball. This means a hitter can cause to leave the bat faster by following through. Moving towards the question number 6. Question number 6 is also included in the examination of 2021. Air escape from the balloon that carries momentum. By momentum conservation, the balloon acquire momentum which exactly opposite to the momentum of escaping air. So this is the answer of question number 6. Now moving towards the question number 7. Question number 7 is also included. Modern cars are not rigid but are designed to have crumb zones, irregular floats that could collapse upon impact. What is the advantage of this new design? So the answer is, when two cars have collision, two things can happen. First thing is, the cars can bounce off each other like this, and the second thing is the car can crumble to each other. This is the crumble zone. When a car bounces off each other, there will be larger change in momentum. Therefore, large impulse and greater force is experienced by the car. Means when a car is bounced off each other, there would be large change in momentum, and due to large change in momentum there would be large impulse and there would be large force due to large impulse. And according to the impulse momentum theorem, J is equal to change in P, change in momentum is equal to force multiplied by change in time. So this was the first case. Second case is, when a car crumble together, there is smaller change in momentum, therefore smaller impulse is applied. A smaller impulse means a smaller force. Also, when the car crumbles, the change in the car's momentum happen over the longer time, and both these effects result in a smaller force on the occupant of a car, thereby increasing the chance of survival. So in the case of car crumble, change in momentum is small, and due to change in momentum, impulse is less and the force is applied less, and the time is also less. Moving towards the next question. Question number 8 is also included in the examination of 2021. The question is, why we can hit a longer sixer in a cricket match rather than if we toss a ball for ourselves. So the answer is, according to the impulse momentum theorem, J is equal to change in momentum is equal to force multiplied by change in time. Now if del T is large, then force is less. Then small force is exerted on a ball and vice versa. And when the ball is tossed for ourselves, then the time contact is large and hence the small force is exerted on a ball. In a cricket match, when a bowler is bowling, the ball comes to you with significant speed. This reduces the time contact. As a result, large amount of force is applied, hence a longer 6 is being hit. So in the case of toss, I am writing here, in the case of toss, change in time is large and the force is less. But in the case of cricket match change in time is small and the force is large. Now moving towards the question number 9. Question number 9 to 12 are very important for the short, so you have to prepare it well. I am writing here important. Then question number 9 is included. An airplane while traveling horizontally dropped a bomb when it was exactly above the target but missed the target. Explain. The bomber missed the target due to the horizontal component of its velocity. The bomb in the airplane has exactly same horizontal speed as that of aeroplane. When an aeroplane drops the bomb will continue its horizontal motion due to inertia and hence move far away from its target and hence miss the target. The answer is it is due to the horizontal component of velocity. Both air and bomb has the same horizontal velocity, and when we drop the bomb it continue its horizontal velocity, due to which it's miss the target. This is due to Vx. Now moving towards the 10 question. Question number 10 is calculate the angle of projection for which the kinetic energy at higher point of its trajectory is equal to 1/4 of its kinetic energy at the point of projection. So the answer is, since we know that at summit point the velocity has only x component and the y and the Vx is equal to 0, so that kinetic energy at projection is half mv square and the kinetic energy at submission is half mx square. Vx is equal to v cos theta, and here would be squares because we have Vx square. So this is equal to this. Kinetic energy at submission is equal to this. We have to find the angle for which the following condition is satisfied. In the question we are given that kinetic energy submission is equal to 1/4 times the kinetic energy of projection. Now putting the values in equation 1 and 2, we get half mv square cos theta square is equal to 1/4 times half mv square. So from here when we take half mv square common from this side, we are left with cos square theta, and here is half mv square already common. So this half mv square and half mv square would be cancelled and we are left with cos square theta is equal to 1 divided by 4, and taking square on both sides we get cos theta is equal to half. Now finding the value of theta, this will go there and we will get cos inverse is equal to half mv square. By putting in the calculator we get theta is equal to 60 degree, and which is our answer. Now moving towards the next question, which is question number 11. Question number 11 is also included in the reduced syllabus 2021. For any specific velocity of projection exceed from a value equal to the 4 times of corresponding height. Discuss. Answer. The range is given by this formula, r is equal to v square sine 2 theta divided by g, and r is directly proportional to sine 2 theta. This we will discuss later. When the height reached by the projection is given by this, height is equal to vi square sine square theta divided by 2g. This is equation number 1 and this is 2. And in the question we are given statement that r is equal to 4 times h. Now putting the values from equation 1 and 2 in equation number 3, we get, first putting the value of range is equal to vi square sine 2 theta divided by g is equal to 4 we get from equation number 4, and the value of h is vi square sine square theta divided by 2g. Now cutting vi square and vi square from here, g from here, we are having vi square sine 2 theta divided by g is equal to 4 times vi square sine square theta divided by 2g. From here you can see that vi square is cancelled with the vi square and g is cancelled with the g, and 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4. So we are left with sine 2 theta divided by 2 sine square theta, and sine 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta and cos theta. This is the formula of trigonometry. So putting the value sine 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta and cos theta, and the 2 sine square theta remains same, and 2 and 2 are cancelled on both sides, and this sine theta is cancelled, 1 is cancelled on one side. So we are left with cos theta is equal to sine theta. Now this cos theta will divide with sine theta. We will get sine theta divided by cos theta is equal to 1. Sine over cos is equal to tangent theta. Tangent theta is equal to 1. Now finding the value of theta, tangent inverse bracket into 1 and putting the value in calculator, tangent inverse 1 is 45 degree. So hence this shows that if theta is equal to 45, the range becomes 4 times of corresponding height, means r is equal to 4h if theta is equal to 45 degree. Question number 12 is also included in the reduced syllabus. What is the angle for which the maximum height reach and corresponding range is equal? So the answer is the angle of projection for which the maximum height reach and the corresponding range are equal is calculated as follow. Range is given by this formula. Range is equal to vi square sine 2 theta divided by g, and the height reached by the projection is given by vi square sine square theta divided by 2g, and we are having the equation r is equal to h. So we have to prove that given statement that r is equal to h from equation number 1 and 2 put in the equation number 3. We get putting the range value, which is vi square sine 2 theta divided by g, and the value of height is vi square sine square theta divided by 2g. So from here vi are cancelled and g is cancelled, and we are left with 2 here. Sine 2 theta is equal to sine square theta divided by 2, and sine 2 theta is equal to 2 sine and cos theta. Putting that, we get from here sine 1 is cancelled and here sine is cancelled, and we are left with 2 cos theta is equal to sine theta divided by 2. We are left with 2 cos theta is equal to sine theta divided by 2. From here this sine would divide with this, and the 2 is multiplied with 2. So we are left with sine theta divided by cos theta, and this 2 is multiplied with this 2 and we get here 4. This equation, sine over cos is equal to tangent theta. Tangent theta is equal to 4. Theta is equal to tangent inverse multiplied by 4. By putting in the calculator, we get 75.96, which is equal to 76 degree. R is equal to S, theta is equal to 76 degree.